What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to Alma, Missouri. We're gonna get super close. We're actually gonna get to harvest season in our second year running the home farm in Alma, Missouri. You can see we are doing a little bit of a contract. I got majority of it done before starting today's episode. We're all the way into July at this point. We do have a little bit of ketchup production going, and we've gotten I believe 1,000 liters of ketchup already produced. We have about 4 pallets back at home, probably a little bit more since I've done this contract, but we have a decent amount that we could take over there, and we will do that today before we make it August. But the plan is to get quickly into August and get the harvest season started. But first things first, we already got this contract started, so it's time to finish it up. Just 5% to go. Shouldn't be too much longer, and it's gonna bring in about $18,000. Money was getting a little tight, and didn't really have anything to do on our own farm in July except for feed the animals and take care of them. So I thought I would get this done. And our own grass, just for my own sanity, we're only going to be cutting that when we absolutely need food. Just the way I want to do it. Cheers. And 99% here on this last pass. I was worried there's a little tiny strip over to the left that we didn't cut, but it looks like that will not be required. Let's hop in here. Go to activated ones, 19,000. Okay, it was a little bit more than what I said, which is always a good thing. All right, feed over here is looking good. We did feed them already this morning. I think we just want to grab the John Deere here, and potentially if we have another tomato pallet, we'll get that moved. But I do want to get that over because that production, oh boy, it burns through the resources so fast. We're talking about it needing 51,000 a month to keep it in production at all times. There's no way we're going to be anywhere near that right now. You can see we did move the eggs around too. Those are starting to pile up. So things are progressing really good. And there is a 5th pallet, so we'll get that loaded. But I think we'll have to get through this harvest year since money is low. Really, it's not even harvest that we need to get through. It's just we need to get to the point where all these goods are at a good price to sell and just keep, progressing with our normal tasks at the farm while we do that. All right, let's get this 5th one on here. And I am gonna grab the case to drive it because it's so much quicker, but we can strap this in while we're here. And we got, the rest of the wheat that we have is in the trailer right now. So no more capacity, they are full. And gosh, I guess at some point we got to get some fuel here so that we don't have to drive into town to refill, but it might make sense to do that right now. But $35,000, it makes me feel a little bit better. And once we get on a straightaway, I'll show you the time-saving stock check because it gives us a good indicator of how profitable the ketchup factory is going to be. So looking here, tomatoes, they peak at, about $1,700. And then looking at the ketchup already, you can see it does peak at $5,800. So we have about max value right now, about 10,000, because we do have almost a 2nd pallet over there. So we took over what I believe was 3. It might have been 5. I think it was 3 though. I can't remember. I was prepping for the episode. But we'll see when these 5 burn through, because they will burn through before August once we activate the production again. And if we have 4,000 liters worth of tomatoes, which is going to be, roughly $20,000 at that point, compared to what I'm having a hard time seeing if the tomatoes, we're going to stop. I want to do some calculations. All right. So if it peaks at 1694 and we had 5 pallets, that would be about 8,470. So if we can have these 5 pallets turn into 2 pallets of ketchup, that's going to end up giving us almost $12,000. So it does seem worth it. Water's pretty cheap. So water's the other ingredient, and it's not costing us much to do the water. So I think this is wise, and we'll see where money's sitting, around February when we decide to buy a field or more greenhouses. I don't think we'll be ready to buy the corn dryer yet, which I think is the next thing I want to do, is the corn dryer, and then that would lead to buying the popcorn factory. But we're going to need to expand. We got most of the equipment that we're going to need. We still, haven't decided exactly what we're going to purchase for our fertilizer treatment, but we have an idea of which slurry machine we want and which manure spreader we want. So those are things to still keep in mind, outstanding expenses that we're going to have. but it's all good. So we'll get this dropped off, we'll get the production going, and then we'll probably jump right into August at that point. All right, we are here, and there is our 1 pallet of ketchup so far. I haven't even looked at it, so let's go look at this together. Oh, that's not bad. There's the little tomatoes on it, on the labels. That's pretty sweet. So 8,800 right now. Let's go into the production, and while we're here, we could probably see that second one. Let's get this activated again. So it's an 8-to-5 ratio, so I think that's like, what's the percentage on that? So it's about 62%, almost 63. So 63% of 1 tomato turns into, you know, 1 thing of ketchup. Did I explain that right? But you can see we're at 933. We're going times 5, and you can see those numbers. It is just burning through it. Right now, I do not have water enabled to automatically fill it because I think we have enough. I just didn't want it constantly filling that up and eating money. But yeah, just kind of delaying here, rambling a little bit, and we're gonna see the second one. That's how quick this production is, and I do like how they age the zone here. That looks awesome. Alma's a good map. That's gonna hit before 1,400. Beautiful. So we still have 4,800 tomatoes to go through. I think we'll have 4 pallets when it's all said and done there, or very close to it. And we do need to make a right-hand turn here, and we will fill this up. It's needed for sure. Let's go ahead and get this undone. That was silly. $511 in fuel costs. Let's head home. Okay, one thing we keep meaning to do is look at the cost of leasing a forage harvester. And honestly, we're probably gonna need to go with the cheapest option in here, which is gonna be this Jaguar mod. Yeah, I've had a feeling we're about to run off the road here. We'll get straight again and look at that. Just gotta, you know, we gotta kill some time while we're driving here. So if we do go to leasing this, 18 grand, we have the header we need. I believe our trailer that we have will work already. It is a big field of corn. It'll take a long time to do that, but that's later in the year. Into the fall, we'll have to take care of that. That's the dollar amount we need to do. We do need to keep in mind to not burn through our money too much, though. I don't see any real expenses right now, so I think we'll be good. We are gonna use the trailer that has wheat in it right now, so we'll wanna get that emptied. I was hoping to just get all the feed to the chickens. I guess that tractor decided to take a nap, but they're not gonna burn through 8,000 between now and tomorrow morning, so we'll have to put that away. Okay, let's just double check on everything. One of the things we are debating doing, and we'll get to that as we do this update. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Plenty of food for the rooster and the chickens. I want to start selling these animals, you know, off. So we have set 475 here now. So I do want to hop in here. Let's go ahead and grab some of these older ones, these 17-month ones. Even though they're the ones producing the most eggs, I think I am going to go ahead and get a good, you know, that's not that much money. We're going to leave the chickens alone, but let's go ahead and look at the cow barn now. Let's head over there. We have 80 cattle now, so I guess we might want to wait a little bit, but I don't want to miss the opportunity when they're at like their peak value. Where was the trigger? Around back here. So yeah, we have 80 now. There's a whole flock. It's not a flock when they're cows. So we have on ours, we have 10 1-month-old Holstein and 10 1-month-old brown Swiss. We also have 11 months, 17 months, and 29 months. We have 10 of everything right now. So it seems like 1,500 is the max for these. I think I'm gonna sell half of them, because that will actually give us a pretty good amount of money. So yeah, if we sell 5 of the brown Swiss and 5 of the Holstein, the milk production will drop a little bit, but we're now at $48,000, and that's kind of the way we want to operate this until we're really making a lot of money, and then we can just overboard it with the amount of cattle. And potentially, if we get all the productions and we don't feel like we're completely done with this playthrough, we might try to find a mod for adding our own butcher shop to make money off of the animal meat. Over here, we have 170 animals. You can see a little baby right in front of us. And I'm kind of interested to see how we're looking there. I've never sold goats or sheep, really. Except for, I guess we did in the role play there. But we can see wool and milk is piling up here. And I don't remember where the icon, oh, there it is. We have to go back to the field for this one. And so on the output here, we have 10 of all these age groups. 19 months is the oldest right now. We also have a 27-month-old goats that are worth $775 each. We're almost full here. So I think with 10 of them, we'll sell 5 of them. And then as the oldest sheeps, I do want to leave them for a little bit longer. I said sheeps, the old sheep. The plural for sheep is sheep. All right, I think we're good. Food is good for everybody and everything's taken care of. We have water in the greenhouse. Let's take a look at our production now. It might have burnt through all of those already. Nope, not quite yet. I will speed up time because we're penny pushing right now. So we'll let this go until about 5 p.m. and then we'll do another check of the production. All right, it is out of the material. Let's go ahead and deactivate that. And then we are gonna visit there real quick just to see. And we ended up getting 5. So we got 3 new ones. Okay, this is nuts. So about $30,000 in ketchup already. And we do have another thing of tomatoes that we could bring over, but we will go ahead and head home. And it's time to focus on that harvest. Just double checking that nothing is at peak price right now that we're gonna sell, and it looks like that is correct. $90,000 in milk right now. Yes, things are starting to progress. All right, we did fill this up. We're gonna have to drop the rest of the wheat, so that'll be the first thing we're gonna do to prepare for this harvest. And we're not gonna rush the tomatoes because you can see how quickly it does process the ketchup. So we can let that pile up a little bit, and then when it's a little bit closer to time to sell that, which we should probably get that known in our head, ketchup is gonna be December. So around October time, we'll wanna really make sure we're starting to liquidate all of the tomatoes from here to the production and get our most out of it, or the most. All right, let's start getting prepped. We got that dropped off, so we'll take this out to the field. This will be the sorghum harvest. And, oh, a beautiful field across the streets ready to harvest. Wouldn't mind that contract. Looks like it might have been done already, actually. Yeah, that's already done. Never mind. I did look for that contract last month and it was not available. All right, let's go get this prepped. We're gonna get out to the field. We can already see the golden sorghum from here. And that grass field is ready to cut. But like I said, we're only gonna do that when we absolutely need the money or the feed for the animals. All right, this tractor's out here prepped. Let's do a one over the animal feed again. TMR is out, but we do have the silage and meadow, so that did cover us a little bit. We're gonna go make a mix of that, and then we'll get them fed, and then we'll get the harvester all prepped. But that's kind of why I wanted to sell some cattle, because they are burning through the food pretty fast. But I don't think I did a mix in July. I think the last one I did was in June, so that's not too aggressive. And I topped off the sheep pretty well and the horses. They seem to mature pretty slowly, so I'll learn more about the horses and as we go. I don't know when is a good time to sell them. It makes sense to, raise them to maturity and sell them at their peak value when they're in their most, athletic stage where they could be used the most, whether it's for racing, whether it's for around a ranch. That's my thoughts on that. All right, so the mixture we've been doing is 4 silage, 2 hay, and we have a ton of hay, so we might adjust that eventually to try a 3-and-3 approach, but we also have some silage inside of the shed there, so we're not too concerned with it. Oh, we need our weights. Oh, much better. So we'll get these 2 dropped in, we'll get the other 2, and then the hay, and then we'll get it all mixed up. And a little bit of wheat, or a little bit of straw goes in here as well. And here are the other 2 silage bales. I mean, we're still using one of our first runs of hay over here. As you can see, there's still, about 7 bales right there, 6 bales. So that hay's lasted us a good amount of time. Seems like we've done pretty good for ourselves. All right, pulling in here. Oh, that's not enough. We need some straw. All right, 24,000 TMR going in, and we will, I think after the harvest, maybe check to see how quick they're burning through this. This might be to the point where we have to do an AM and PM feed mix for them, which is fine if that's the case. We want to keep them at 100% production because we can already see the benefits of how much money that milk's going to make us. Still got a few months before it's at peak price. Oh, who put that there? And still plenty to get produced. So sitting at about 90,000 already from milk. It's looking like a solid year right now for us. And I do think once we get the silage pits completely full of the corn and turn that into silage when we chop it, I think at that point, whatever we have left over as silage bales, we might sell and then just start using the silage pit for the feed mixes. But I think this might be the best place to park this. Let's go ahead and get the header attached. All this unfolded. And it feels like forever since we've done one of our own harvests on this game. In a field that was treated beautifully for a really good yield bonus. So this should be an amazing output of sorghum here. That's going to turn into feed for the chickens and the horses. Go ahead and activate the header. Cruise in here and cut a little bit of this, and then we'll get our steering assist configured. That's good right there. Let's hop out and take a look and remember what we've got going here. 95% bonus. Yeah, everything but rolling and mulching was done. All right, this is all configured. Away we go. I have a feeling we will not make it around the headland before this fills up. And I need to start getting my auto drive configured so we can just bust through these. That'll be another day though. Yeah, this is the ideal situation here. We're already having to unload, not even done with the headland. You know, pretty much done with a little more than half of the headland. I love it. This is boding well for us. All right, 36% full, so that means we can get 2 and a little bit of a third. Oh, the harvester full, the hopper of the harvester full, before we have to unload the trailer. You know, not harvesting as often as we were in the past, you know, day-wise. I'm constantly forgetting to check the levels before I start a pass with the auger in the wrong side. So that happened again. It seems to be a trend lately for us. But I think after this here, I am going to hand it over to a worker. This case is struggling to get up to speed. I guess that was a little bit of an incline. But we will hand it over to a worker and start running card at this point. I like to get a little bit of that harvest in on my own, but now it's time to speed things up. And I think we will take some of this over to the horses. So what value is it going to increase for them? You know, effectiveness, it says, is at... I don't get what we get from it. You know, they are going up in value as they get a little bit older. I'm keeping an eye on that. Fitness is good. Puberty's getting up there. I don't see what the value is. Oh, here it says horses can be sold for profit. Horses like hay, oat, and sorghum. Additionally, they require water, which we don't have to on this one, apparently. They need to be ridden daily to increase their value. Animals that are healthy and older than 22 months can reproduce. The numbers in brackets refer to the effectiveness of the respected food. Yeah, but I don't know what it affects. Right? That's the big question there. Does it affect their value? Which would be kind of strange. All right, let's have them take over. They should line up again or just completely ignore what we told them to do. We do need to start on ups and downs and not work headlands, and I believe that will sort this out. Yeah, gonna do a little shimmying to get lined up, and we will go ahead and give, I don't want to give all of this to the horses, but we'll give a decent amount of it to them, and then put the rest in the silo, and then come back, and hopefully by the time we're back, they need unloaded, and we didn't wait too long. But 28,000 already? A good amount of the field yet to harvest? Seems like a good output to me. I mean, they can smell the sorghum. I heard them neighing. Okay, let's look in the menu real quick. So their capacity here, oh, it's, yeah, we'll just let them take what they can, because it's not going to be the whole trailer. So that gave them 9,000 in their base food, and root crops, the only thing they don't have. But again, I don't see what that helps. Seems like they just need fed to, I don't know, guys. Maybe they don't reproduce unless they're at 100% effectiveness. I've never gone this deep into horses. But we don't plan on selling this. I'm kind of hoping this sorghum lasts us a couple years. Next year, we definitely need to do a crop that will produce straw. So the wheat that we have and the sorghum that we have this year hopefully gets us by to feed the chickens. Then by the time we can harvest wheat next year, or barley, maybe we'll do barley, I'm hoping we still have sorghum available to keep feeding the horses at that point, about 12 months from now. We do have weather coming here in the next hour, so it might be 10 o'clock. I do not understand the decision to do 2-hour blocks on here. Where are you going? Oh my goodness. Why are you even over here? Is insane to me. Just ripping me off, trying to make more money. Make your harvest last longer. 2 episodes in a row. This is why I like course play. But this seems to be the most efficient. Now where's it going? Like, okay. Seems to be the most efficient way to do it when you want to do a little bit of the harvest yourself and then hand it over to a worker. I personally, I like the old AI system better. All right, let's get it done. Why does this have to show up in a value that we can afford? Oh, well, I mean, this would be cool to have too. There's some good sales here, but this is frustrating because I would love to have this, but we can't do it. We can't do it. All right, looks like the rain is gonna be 11 o'clock and just 11 o'clock. So a short rainstorm. And we should be able to get this done before then, potentially. That's what we'll be aiming for, as long as we keep them rolling and they don't ever have to stop and wait for us. I think we'll be able to bust this out before 11 o'clock. Okay, what are they doing? Why did they skip all of those passes? I don't know anymore, guys. I don't know anymore. I mean, so is this me eating crow? Was that an attempt to have the auger exposed at all times? So, like, they'll do this next pass and then skip one potentially. I mean, and it caused us to slow down like we didn't want to. Back up here. There we go. That should do it. Try to get out of the way to where they're not going to think they're blocked in a second, because I want to hop out here, jump in the sky, and kind of watch this unfold. But we'll see if they're blocked in a second. So I'm guessing they're going to do this pass next, but then come down. I don't know. We'll see. I'm confused. All right, they are able to continue on, so we should be out of their way. And let's see which pass they pick next. Oh, they did pick the next one, so I don't know, why would you skip one and then come back and do, I don't understand the logic in that. It has to be something to do with how full it was and trying to make sure the auger was, and the pipe was on the correct side of the field, or a side of the field that's already been cut, so that we can unload it. But it's confusing to me. I guess the more I evaluate it in its full process, the more I'd probably understand it. But I do think we'll top them off on this pass here, and then we'll empty this, because it's getting close to being full to where we won't be able to do a whole auger load, a whole hopper load next time. And boy, you need to use the steering wheel, not the keyboard, buddy. That way you can drive straight. 77% full, not too bad. Another 29,000 liters. I think we'll be good with the amount of feed we have for these animals. Yeah, and they did the next row. He didn't skip one that time. If the pattern matches, he would skip one next to, I'm done guessing. Yeah, no pattern at all. It was just random. Now, I don't know if it's the map or the settings I'm using, but there was a tornado in July, but I couldn't find it. I flew around the whole time that it was signaling that a tornado was around, and I didn't see it. So I don't know if anybody else that's playing on Alma has actually seen a tornado. You're not blocked, man. That's way too sensitive. Try not to complain, guys. But I'm not doing very good. And let's see if this storm just starts right on the minutes. Is the worker just going to keep going? Or are they going to stop because of the weather? They're just going to go through it, huh? Does the yield decrease apply to workers? I imagine it does. Let's go ahead and stop it for now. And we'll make it... I'm imagining it'll have to be 12:30 before we stop this. Yep, 30 minutes of it saying it's not raining. Well, it's raining. At least it's consistent, right? And last pass here, I don't think it'll quite fill up the grain cart here, but another 30,000 liters it's looking. I think this was a successful harvest. All right, all complete here. They're running away from me. Come on, unload. Thank you. Is it empty? Is it actually empty? Oh, they're gonna go get that little bit they missed. We're gonna stop them though. All right, successful harvest there. 31,000 more in the trailer. Let's get this over there. We do know we gave a good amount to the horses, but once we get over, we'll see what our total left over is. And depositing 31,000 more liters into the silo here. Oh, we're flying. I was gonna say my mouse sensitivity changed. So it's gonna get us close to 100,000. Well, no, it's not. 79,000 is what we got. That's not bad though. We will take it. With 6,500 wheat still left over, I am going to grab that though. And we're done with this trailer for now. So we'll have this. We'll keep topping off the chickens, trying to burn through this wheat until I think it's either October or November when we're going to be able to. Well, I guess we could chop the corn early, couldn't we? We might do that in September and give us time on the winter to do cover crops again, because I think that will be the financial choice. But I want to go look at the corn and see how tall it's looking. Actually, probably have time before I record this, maybe not. Do you lose yield if you chop the corn while it's still green, or do you need to wait till it's harvestable? That's a weird word, harvestable, before you do that. This is quite the run. There we go. That's pretty tall. That is some tall corn. So it's at 5 of 7, so it will be October when it's ready. We might do this in September, but that is where I'm going to leave you today. We have a good harvest done. We got some more coming. We know we have a lot of money coming in from milk and ketchup at the end of this year. I'm excited to get to it and see how we can expand. I'm SocksWayUp. Thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the next episode.